Welcome to Mathematics on Elimu TV. I am your TV mathematics teacher, Mr. Kamau. And today I'm going to continue with our previous lesson on quadratic equations. We had gone as far as how we can apply quadratic equations to solve real-life situations. This requires us to form the quadratic equation and then to solve the quadratic equation. So I have a question here which is related to that. You are given that in a right-angled triangle PQR, angle Q is 90 degrees. QR is x centimeters. PQ is 2x minus 2 centimeters and PR is 30 centimeters. Then you are told to find x. So I will start by representing that question using a diagram. So I will draw the right-angled triangle PQR, where we are given that PR is 30 centimeters and RQ is, or QR is x centimeters, and then PQ is 2x minus 2 centimeters. So the question is, find x. That's our problem. So now, since we are told that this is a right-angled triangle, so what we need to do is to use Pythagoras theorem. So hypotenuse squared is equals to opposite squared plus adjacent squared. So this gives us 900 is equals to x squared plus, now when you open the bracket here by squaring, we'll get 4x squared minus 8x plus 4. So that if we take 900 to the other side, we will have 0 is equals to x squared plus 4. X squared is 5x squared minus 8x. Then 4 minus 900 will give you minus 896. Minus 896. Now, I'll just go straight away and use the quadratic formula. You see, we have now formed a quadratic formula which we are going to solve in order to find the value of x. So applying the quadratic formula, we know that A is equals to 5, B is equals to negative 8, and C is equals to negative 896. Therefore, x will have the value of negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared. Negative 8 squared is 64. Then minus 4 times a is 5. Then times c is negative 896. All this divide by 2 times a, which is 5. So this will become 8 plus or minus the square root of, we have 64 minus 4 times 5, that is 20, multiplied by negative 896. So that cancels out the negative sign, and we are left with a positive sign. So multiply by 896, and that will give us the square root of 17,984. This divided by 2 times 5, which is 10. So we can now get the square root of 17,984 from our calculators. So this gives us 8 plus or minus 134.1. That is what I'm getting from my calculator. Divide by 10. And so we will have two solutions, as we have had before. The first one is when we say plus. So x1 will be 134.1 plus 8. Then divide that by 2. No, not divide by 2, divide by 10, which should give you 14.21. The next one will be 8 minus 134.1. Then divide that by 2, and this gives us negative 63.05. Now, this is a triangle, and x refers to the lengths of a triangle. There is no way we can have negative length, and therefore we disqualify this solution, and we will therefore say our final answer is that x is equals to 14.21 centimeters. And that is solved. The next question gives us a narrative. It says a stone is projected vertically upwards with a velocity of u meters per second. U meters per second. The height h in meters to which it reaches in t seconds is given by the formula h is equals to ut minus 1 over 2 gt squared. So there, h represents the height, u is the velocity at which it is projected upwards, vertically upwards. T is the time it takes to reach a height h. Now, we are given that if u is equals to 160 meters per second, and g is equals to 10, of course g represents acceleration due to gravity, and the height, it rises to h is equals to 240 meters, 240 meters. You are told, find the time the stone takes to rise to that height. So that should be simple. All we need to do is substitute these values ug and h in the formula. So we will say h is 240 is equals to u is 160, t is not given, then minus a half g. A half g means a half of 10, which is 5, then t squared. We can rearrange this equation so that it becomes, we take 240 to the other side, so we have 0 is equals to 160 t minus 5 t squared minus 240. And if we can rewrite this in a different way, if we multiply throughout by negative 1, the equation becomes 5t squared. No, let me write it the way it would be. Multiply throughout by negative 1, we get 0 is equals to negative 160t plus 5t squared plus 240. The reason why I have multiplied by -1 is so that we can write it in the form that we are used to. So this now can be written as 5t squared minus 160t plus 240 is equals to 0. Now, since each of the constants is divisible by 5, we can therefore divide throughout by 5 just to simplify, so that this becomes t squared minus 160 divided by 5 is 32t plus 240 divided by 5. This gives us 48 is equals to 0. And we can solve this by product and sum, or we can solve it using the quadratic formula. The only difference here is that we are using t instead of x, which we are used to. So we will simply say, using the quadratic formula, t is equals to negative b, our b is negative 32, plus or minus the square root of b squared, that means negative 32 whole squared, minus 4 times a is 1 and c is 48. Then divide by 2 times a, which is 2 times 1. So let us work out the discriminant first. This value here, that is negative 32 squared, which gives us 1024. Then we say minus 4 times 48. 4 times 1 times 48. 4 times 1 times 48. And that gives me 832. So this becomes negative 32 is positive 32 plus or minus square root of 832 divided by 2 times 1, which is equals to 2. So the square root of 832 should give you 28.84. So this will be equals to 32 plus or minus 28.84 divided by 2. So we have one value of time will be 32 plus 28.84 divided by 2. 32 plus 28.84 divided by 2, which brings us to 30.42 seconds. 30.42 seconds. The other value of time will be when we say minus. So we have 32 minus 28.84 divided by 2. 32 minus 28.84 divided by 2, and this gives you 1.58 seconds. Now, we have two solutions. We have this and we have that. That means that the stone, when projected upwards, will be at height 240 meters at two different times. First, after 1.58 seconds, it will be at that height. And second, after 30.42 seconds. And you may wonder what that means. But if you just think how a stone projected upwards will travel, you project it from here, it goes up, reaches maximum height, and then comes down. So height 240 meters could be somewhere here. So when it is going up, immediately after it is projected, after 1.58 seconds, it is at that distance from the point of projection. Then it goes up and then comes back down after 30.42 seconds. Again, it is at the same distance. Therefore, the solution, that's why the solution is 1.58 seconds and 30.42 seconds. Now, I'll quickly take you to one more question that is relating to application of quadratic equations in real life situations. So the next question, a motorist traveled a distance of 100 kilometers at an average speed of X kilometers per hour. On his return journey, he traveled the same distance at a speed reduced by 10 kilometers per hour and took 10 minutes more. Obtain an equation for X and find X correct to two significant figures. So the journey is 100 kilometers, and the speed was X kilometers per hour at first. So we can say that the time taken to cover distance when he was going was, okay, time is equals to distance over speed. Therefore, we can say 100 over X is the distance, is the time he took. But then on the return journey, he was moving a little bit slower. So the speed was reduced by 10 kilometers per hour. That means it was 90 kilometers per hour. And, sorry, this is wrong. It should be the distance is still 100, but the speed was less by 10. So we say X minus 10. Now, what is the difference? This is the time he took when going, and this is the time he took when returning, on the return journey. And we are told that on the return journey, he took 10 minutes more. So we write an equation relating this. We can say that he took more time. This is more than this. Therefore, we can say 100 over X minus 10 minus 100 over X is equals to, the difference is 10 minutes. But since our speed is given in kilometers per hour, we have to write 10 minutes in terms of hours, and that will be 1 over 6. And from there, what you need to do is to multiply this equation by the LCM of X minus 10, X and 6, which will be, the LCM here will be 6x, x minus 10. So if we multiply throughout by 6x, x minus 10, here the x minus 10 will cancel because you say 6x, x minus 10 divided by that, we get 6x. So we will have 6x times 100. And then this one, the x will cancel, and we will have minus 6 into x minus 10 multiplied by 100. And then on the other side, 6 will cancel, and we'll be left with x into x minus 10. Now, I'm told that my time is up. I will leave it at that point. Probably if we have time in our next lesson, we will continue from there. I would like this to be a challenge to you. Work out this and solve and see if you can make the quadratic equation out of it and then solve for x. So we stop at this point, and remember that you can always get tips on how to solve various questions in mathematics by sending your SMS, which should read MAT3, standing for Mathematics Form 3, and send that to 21126, and you will get those tips. Thank you, and we'll see you in the next lesson.